The Tom Brady story, it's unbelievable. And I'll pose this question before we go into the story of Tom Brady. Is he the greatest team sportsman of all time? I mean, you talk about the Jordans and whatnot, but he's got to be in the argument. There's no doubt about it.
He's in the argument. He's in the top 5, and of course, at the moment, you think that because it's so fresh in our memories what he's doing and stuff. But yeah, he's a wonderful sportsman, and he's probably going to win another Super Bowl.
The story is remarkable, Gus. I don't know of another ugly duckling story like it in sport to that extent. There's other people that haven't showed so much that turned out to be, champions, but not to this extent. Mate, born in California, went to college at Michigan, where for the most part, for his 4 years at college football, he was the number 2 quarterback. He was the backup. Yeah. Last 2 years, went there and started to show something. Now, he entered into the NFL draft, and I think it was 2000. And all these sports that have drafts, what they do is they have a combine. Now, a combine is where basically all the clubs turn up and the coaches and the scouts watch as the athletes go through a series of tests. For the NFL, it's like, it's speed, strength. It's they
Power,
get agility.
Yeah.
They have MRI scans to see if they're fully grown yet, how big they're going to be, body mass, everything. They go through absolutely everything. And Tom Brady was judged the worst ever person to go through a combine. Certainly the worst quarterback ever to go through a combine. Wow. You have a look at the photo. You type in Tom Brady combine, his photo standing there. In a sport that is so much about an athlete and being size and speed and everything, he was slow. He had no muscle mass. He had a little pot. He had a little pot belly.
Yeah.
They said his throwing arm was weak, and nobody was interested. Nobody. He was sitting on draft day, sitting at home with his father, and there's 200 players get picked up in the draft. Now, when it got to 190, his coach at Michigan, his college coach, rang his good friend Bill Belichick, who's the coach of the Patriots, and he said, look, this kid hasn't gone yet. Look, I know he's shown nothing at the combine. I know that he's been totally written off. But just do me a favour and just pick him up. You got nothing to lose by. It's the 6th round of the draft. I just know there's something about the kid. There's a mental toughness about him. So he went 199 in the draft. He tells a story that he and his father, he said, I walked with my father around the block 3 times and was crying, thinking to myself, this is a nightmare. Yeah. So he ends up at New England. They pick him up. There's not a lot. He's the 3rd string quarterback. Circumstances which lead up to his 2nd year is that the first stringer gets injured, the 2nd stringer in the 2nd game of the season gets injured, and Brady jumps in with no expectations, and they go on to win the Super Bowl that year. And he's never looked back. He's
just hardly missed a game in that 15, 16 years.
He's continued to get better and better and better. It's just a phenomenal story, and it just shows you. Yeah. People get out there, these idiots in sport, get out there and they look at kids and they say to kids, you're not big enough, you're not fast enough. I'll tell you, the most important muscle is the one that sits between your ears. Yeah. That's the one that dictates your mental toughness and everything like that. And he's just the perfect example of that.
The big amount of heart. I was talking to my dad yesterday about this exact topic, about ugly ducklings that have turned into, great athletes. And same in racing. Takeover Target, $1,400, and went on to win a race at Royal Ascot in front of the Queen. I mean, that's a similar amazing story.
Farlap, the story of him coming off the boat, had warts all over his face from the stress of the boat ride over. Comes last in his first, how many, 6 or 7 starts?
Yeah, even more, yeah.
A dozen starts or something comes last.
We even hear when JT was finishing up, at the end of last year, and you heard all those tributes, the start of his career, that he was just a lost soul and no one thought really much of him either.
Billy Slater was rejected by clubs because they said he was too small. So he gave up rugby league for a year, come around and was working the stables with Gay Waterhouse. Went back, grew a little bit. Next thing you know, he's one of the greatest of all time.